What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Boundless Perception YouTube channel, and today we're back again working on my Lich King armor. We're going to go ahead and do some painting, some sanding, and get it to this point. So let's hop to it. Alright guys, as you can see, we are back in the garage working on the chest piece here. We have the front and the back, and I'm just basically sanding them down. I started on these a very long time ago, and I'm actually sanding resin off of these pieces. As you can see, I have a little bit of wood filler in there too. I have since moved on and do not use wood filler anymore, but we're just sanding these down, trying to preserve as much detail in the bottom and top pieces as possible. Well, front and back pieces. You can see there's a few designs on the front, and I'm just trying to, get in between them. I have my orbital sander and my triangular sander here because I don't like to sand things, and if I am going to do it, I'm not going to do it by hand. So I will go ahead and link these two for you. They're phenomenal sanders and they work extremely well. You can see tons of material coming off, and it's just basically all going well. Then I'm going to go ahead and move over onto the next piece. Well, not just yet, but the next piece will be the exact same thing, but continuing on with this one, I'm trying also to avoid, the hinges and the items that I have that actually attach the two pieces together. This was the very first armor piece I ever created, and, if I were to redo this, I definitely wouldn't make a lot of changes, but I'm committed to finishing this project as I told you guys I would. So that's what's basically occurring here. Then we also have a little bit of filament actually coming off. The pieces themselves, I tried not to go too deep, but there were, a few pieces of raised filament that I actually did also have to remove. Then I moved over to the shoulders here. I can't remember if this is the left or the right shoulder. It's two pieces that I, essentially welded together or fused together. Sanding those down, you can see there's tons of detail in each shoulder. Went ahead and sanded those down to the best of my ability, but I know I'm going to coat them, as you can see here, with filler sandable primer, and that takes away a decent amount of the work. So I was probably only sanding for about, 15 to 10 minutes or so, like that. I mean, the video is greatly sped up, so I can't remember exactly how long I spent, but it was still a decent amount. And again, just coating the next pieces here. You can see again the shoulders being coated, and a lot of the detail is still being preserved. Of course, you're going to lose a little bit, and you can see with one of the shoulder pieces there's a bit of defects. I'm just going to go ahead and call that battle damage. It's later on in the day. We're moving over into, I think these are the shin pieces, or basically the yeah, I think they're the shin pieces. So that was the next piece that we went ahead and covered. And last but not least, we had the belt here that we also went ahead and sanded and sprayed with filler primer. This one was very hard to do, but we got it done. All right, guys, so here you can see all of the pieces that are currently, basically ready to be painted. Well, a little bit more sanding. We've got the chest piece here. We have to shave a little bit off the sides there. We did end up coating our, straps and stuff a little bit with the paint, but that doesn't really matter. We have our belt piece here. The only piece that we have actually painted, and this was the very first item I did, was the actual, forearm pieces. They are completed. I do have to go over them with, a little bit of detail to, make it pop a little bit more, but those are essentially done. Then we have our shoulder piece here. Then we have other shoulder piece, back piece, and I said shin earlier, but these are actually for your thighs. So these are the thigh pieces. We're going to sand them down just a little bit more, and we'll be ready to go for our final painting. But now let's go ahead and get all this armor on me and see how it looks. All right, guys, so this is how everything looks after it's been sanded and coated with the first, layer of filler primer. I do have to sand down a little bit of this, and I have to work on the left shoulder piece, the larger one over here, as it's a little bit loose. I don't want to be walking around at a convention, bump somebody, have it fall off and break. That'd be, absolutely disastrous. And then we still have to put the spikes into this. So, and the spike, I think one goes into the right one. I can't remember, but definitely spikes on the left one.
Shin pieces are good. I finally figured out how to get the straps to work correctly, so I was very happy about that. I don't know what I was doing before, but it just wasn't working. Belt's good and chest is good. Everything fits very well. I don't have the greatest range of motion. Like I can go about here before I feel like things will, you know, not go so well. So that's about my range of motion. But otherwise, it's definitely coming along. A project that I've been working on for a long time. So glad I'm making some headway and progress finally after over more than a year. If I was to redo this, you know, this was the very first armor piece that I ever printed. I got an Ender 3. I just literally got the file from Nico Industries, downloaded it, printed it, and I was just like, let's just go. I didn't know anything about infill. I didn't know anything about, what's it called, sanding and using filler primer. I didn't know anything about warping. I just grabbed the file, printed it, and went. So moving forward with my, you know, new armor pieces I'm going to make in the future, I'm definitely going to make some adjustments. I would definitely make this maybe a little bit lighter, less infill. I think I used, probably like 25% infill on these, which is a lot. Probably drop it to 10, so, you know, more than half reduction. But anyways, though, it's still good. I'm still happy with this. I do have to reprint Frostmore because when I made the first one, I knew nothing about putting pipes and stuff in the middle for stability, and it crumbled. So do have to redo that sword. But otherwise, this is how it's coming along. I probably will this weekend go ahead and start sanding, you know, down a little bit more, just working on a few of the seams, getting them to flow together a bit better. Then go ahead and hitting it with that gray spray paint, and then finally adding the accents in for all of the details. But here we go. I told you guys I was gonna get this project done, and I'm sticking to my word. So here you have it. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for checking me out. And until next time, stay boundless. See you all. Bye-bye.